And I think to begin, I think this meeting should send in solidarity to the magnificent people of the Middle East in Egypt, Bahrain, Libya and elsewhere who are fighting against their own. And if the people of the Middle East have proved anything, they've proved that no matter how strong they appear, if we organise, we can defeat them. And even in the last week, because of the magnificent anti-cuts work we have seen in the Forest of Dean and elsewhere in Britain, that Cameron has had to step back from privatising our forests. By the way, my name is John McAnally from the Bristol Anti-Cuts Alliance, the Public Commercial Services Union. But the attacks are continuing. We're seeing a hate campaign against people on welfare, and they want to put the poorest and the most vulnerable in society even further into the ground. And trade unionists, whether you're in work or not, that is an attack on all of us, an attack we have to resist. But not everybody's having it bad. Barclays profits are up 11%, I'm sure you'll know, and they're only paying 1% tax. These people are stealing from us 1% tax on billions of profit. Now, over the course of the coming weeks and months, we're going to build this campaign. I've just got a few announcements before we bring on the first speaker. On Tuesday, there is a lobby of Bristol City Council because the message from us is a clear one. No government cuts, but no council cuts either. Resist the cuts. So if everybody can turn up on Tuesday the 22nd, 2 p.m. until evening. If you come here at 1 o'clock to demonstrate against the cuts, we'd love to see you. And we'd urge people to come after work at 5 p.m. as well. And of course you all know there's going to be one of the biggest demonstrations this country's ever seen on the 26th of March in London. We would urge everybody to attend, and don't just bring yourself, bring your families. We have got 5 speakers today. I would like to invite the first speaker. It's Jane Taylor, who's a Unite Senior Convener in Bristol City Council. Welcome, Jane.
Thank you, colleagues. As I say, I'm Jane Taylor, Convener for Bristol City Council. Comrades, Unite the Union is proud to be supporting this demonstration and rally against the cuts today in Bristol. Unite is not going to stand by and let the condemned government destroy our communities in this country. Cameron talks of the big society. Unite campaigns for a fair society and the right to equal access to work, to good quality health care and community services, and to education. The spending review and cuts erode those rights and will hurt the most vulnerable people in our society. The young, the elderly, the disabled and the unemployed, and workers on low incomes, many of whom are women and black, Asian and ethnic minorities. The action that the councils are taking in Bristol and their surrounding areas as a result of the cuts are going to see thousands of workers lose their jobs, not only in local authorities but in the voluntary sector, as councils remove financial support for voluntary sector projects. There will also be job losses in the private sector as the public sector cuts back on spending on goods and services from that sector. Others will find their jobs outsourced to the private sector, and there'll be a race to the bottom with low pay and bad working conditions. The government says that the private sector will provide jobs for those that are sacked in the public sector. We all know that this is a lie. Job opportunities are few, and the government is not investing in job creation. Across the Greater Bristol area, community-based projects supporting the young, elderly and most deprived groups in our communities are having their projects closed and removed. Our community centres, our youth centres, our libraries are a lifeline for many people. They are a vital part of our society. Cameron and the other Tom Clegg believe that volunteers will fill the huge void caused by these closures. This is inconceivable because charities are losing financial funding and the private sector isn't going to be interested because they are not going to be able to make a profit out of these services. The National Health Service is facing massive reorganisation and the biggest changes since it was introduced. This is going to lead to job cuts and to health services being provided by the private sector. What the government is doing is nothing to do with cutting the deficit. It is to do with ideology. They want to erode our National Health Service and sell it to the private sector. Unite is supporting young people that have demonstrated and will continue to demonstrate against the increase in student fees and the removal of the EMA and the scrapping of building plans at their schools. We are appalled that many of our young people will not be able to afford to go to sixth form, further education, college and university. At this time, when young people's unemployment in this country has now reached 1 million. Comrades, I am angry. The actions of Cameron Clegg and his cronies are not going to produce a big society. They are going to decimate our society. They are telling people that there is no alternative but to cut the deficit and to cut it fast, and are being backed up by the right-wing press. They are wrong. There is an alternative. The debt is not high either historically or compared with other countries. The USA, France and Germany all have higher debts than us. We do not need to make such savage cuts, and in fact it is dangerous and could lead to a double-dip recession as more workers become unemployed. And those who are lucky enough to remain in work cut their expenditure because of fear of unemployment. Unite is not just saying don't cut, it is saying there is an alternative which will protect people's jobs and our public sector services, produce more job opportunities and ensure equal access to education. The government could introduce a Robin Hood tax, a small tax on financial transactions between banks, cut down on tax avoidance by big companies and the super rich, and invest in science, technology and skills. So finally, comrades, join us on the 26th of March, when we will be turning out in our hundreds of thousands in London to let Cameron Clegg and the down government know we are all angry and that they are wrong and they won't take it. Thank you.